If you work in tech, you probably talk about the future a lot, your upcoming releases, deadlines, meetings, and tasks. But here's a little secret. Using will is not the only way to talk about the future in English. Hi, friends. Welcome back to English for Tech Professionals. This is the channel where we help you speak confidently in English at work and beyond. I'm Anna Gandrabura, your English and effective communication coach. And today in this video, I will show you 5 practical ways to talk about the future. We will cover most common future tenses and grammar constructions. And in addition, I'll give you some practical examples so you can see how this grammar is used in real life. Okay, so let's start with future simple. The simplest tense to talk about the future and the one you probably know and use all the time. This is when we put will in front of the main verb to make it into a future action. Easy, right? And just a reminder, we use future simples to express decisions made at the moment of speaking or when we talk about future facts. For example, I'll send the final version by Friday. I decided now and I said it right away. Or our next team call will be on Tuesday, right? This is a fact. But here's one thing that you might not know. It's that we don't use will for all future actions. And in fact, there is a much more common grammar construction that we use to talk about our plans. And I just want to let you know that in reality, native English speakers don't use will talking about the future as much as non-native English speakers. Okay, now let's talk about another construction that is going to. We use going to for plans, any plans for the future. Now think about this. How often do we talk about our plans? I think very often, right? We talk about our plans at work. We describe our plans for the upcoming weekend during small talk. We talk about plans all the time. That's why the construction going to is the most common way to talk about the future. It is used even more often than future simple. Grammatically, here is how you can use it. So we use the verb to be in the present simple tense. So we say am is are, then we say going to, and then we use the verb in the infinitive form. Here are some examples for you to see how it works. We are going to roll out the update next week. We are going to roll out. I'm going to go to an offline event this Saturday. I am going to go. Now think about it. When in a stand-up meeting at work, they ask you, what are you going to do next, right? They're asking you, like your manager is asking you about the next steps. What are your plans for the day, for example? And they are going to use the construction going to. What are you going to do today? If you want to respond correctly, you have to use going to. I'm going to debug this or do this. Okay, here's a bonus construction for you. When we talk about our immediate plans for the near future, we use the construction be about to do something. Now, you can use it when something is going to happen very soon, like almost now, right now. For example, I'm about to hop on a call. Can I reply later? I'm about to hop on a call. I have my phone in my hand and I'm about to call someone. Or we're about to launch a new product. In other words, we are going to launch a new product very, very soon. And the way you use this construction, as you have noticed probably in my examples, to be about to do something. So you use be as am is are in the present form, then about, and then to, and after to, you use the main verb in the infinitive form. I'm about to tell you about the third way to talk about the future. Now, number 3 is a little bit unusual. It's present continuous for future. Strange, but it's true. We often use present continuous for fixed future arrangements with specific times. So what exactly is a fixed arrangement? Fixed arrangement. Well, think about this way. Every time you book something on your calendar, it's a fixed arrangement. For example, if you book a meeting, if you schedule a meeting with the client, that's a fixed arrangement. And when you talk about it, you use present continuous. For example, I'm meeting the client tomorrow at 2 p.m. In other words, you know exactly it's going to happen. It's on your calendar. The client knows you have arranged it. That's why we call it a fixed arrangement. Or let's say you book a flight to a beautiful seaside resort, and you can say something like, I am flying to Florida next month. I am flying because you have the tickets, you booked everything. It's a fixed arrangement. Now, it sounds like the present tense, but we're actually talking about the future. I'm pretty sure it might be quite the same in your native language. Think about it and let me know in the comments. By the way, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to read them and reply to them. Okay, number 4. Might or may. Have you ever heard a conversation that went like this? What are you going to do this weekend? Maybe I will go to the beach. Maybe I will go to the beach. If you want to speak English fluently, you have to stop speaking like that. Because instead of saying maybe I will do something, it is a lot more common and natural to say I might do something or I may do something. For example, instead of saying maybe I will do this project later, say I might do this project later, or I may do this project later. I might or I may, they're technically the same. Or instead of saying maybe we will need to adjust the timeline, you should say we may need to adjust the timeline. So don't start your sentence with maybe. Use may in the middle and then the verb. I'm telling you, this is such an easy way to instantly improve your English. Just replace maybe I will with I might or I may do something. And you know what? You will immediately sound more fluent and you will immediately sound more like a native English speaker and not like an intermediate level learner. We got to the 5th and the last common way to talk about the future. You're about to learn a very advanced grammar tense that I have saved for the end. But no worries, it's not actually that complicated, okay? It's just not as commonly used in casual speech as the previous 4 items that we have discussed. So this 5th and last future construction is the future continuous tense. Have you ever heard about the future continuous tense? Well, if you want to use the sentence using the future continuous tense, you have to say will be doing something. And we use this tense for actions that will be happening at a specific time in the future, often in a formal or semi-formal work context when, for example, we describe future updates or when we talk about scheduling. In real life, we will see this tense in announcements and some company updates. For example, here's how you can use this tense in work context. We will be hosting a live Q&A session with the product team this Friday at 4 p.m. Or our team will be working on performance improvements throughout the week. Or in your life context, you can say, I will be visiting Florida at this time next month. So you see, will be visiting at this time, specific time in the future. Give yourself a pat on the back for sticking to the end. You now know not just 1, but 5 different ways to talk about the future, and you're ready to use them at work and in your day-to-day life. Now, I'm curious to know, what other grammar topics would you like me to cover in the future, in the upcoming videos? Let me know in the comments, and also make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon so that you receive notification every time I post a new video. And as you know, we post a new video every Friday. Bye for now.